Manchester City head into Saturday's Premier League clash at Crystal Palace 3 points off top spot. City are third in the standings with 67 points, a point behind second-placed Arsenal and 3 adrift of leaders Liverpool. They visit a Palace side who are 14th. City's remaining league fixtures include promoted Luton Town, Tottenham Hotspur, Brighton Hove Albion, Nottingham Forest, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Fulham and West Ham United. Obviously, winning this match will be a mandatory task for Man City if they want to aim for the championship. Welcome to City Insider, and right here will be a preview and lineup prediction for the City vs Crystal Palace clash. Recent performance of both sides, the games continue to come thick and fast across Europe as we approach the business end of the 2023-24 season. As for the Premier League, Game Week 32 kicks off less than 48 hours after the previous round of fixtures ended when Crystal Palace and Manchester City clash at Selhurst Park on Saturday afternoon. Crystal Palace would have hoped for a transformation of fortunes when Oliver Glasner replaced Roy Hodgson at Selhurst Park. But the Austrian manager has overseen only 1 win in 5 outings thus far as the Eagles' head coach. However, the results have somewhat improved, considering the hosts have lost only twice, although they come into this game on the back of a 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth. As for Manchester City, they bounced back from a 2-game Premier League winless run with a 4-1 win over Aston Villa earlier this week. That result has helped them keep pace with Liverpool and Arsenal at the top of the table, with the former 3 points ahead and the latter a point clear. The reverse fixture saw Crystal Palace coming from 2 goals down to hold Manchester City to a 2-2 draw, with Michael Olise scoring a late equaliser. Team news and predicted 11. Oliver Glasner has an injury crisis hampering his preparations ahead of his side's latest fixture. Against Manchester City on Saturday, the Crystal Palace manager will be bereft of the services of at least 8 first-team players, but there is some good news, as Michael Olise is close to returning to action from a hamstring injury. Meanwhile, Chris Richards is the latest absentee after picking up a knee injury. The 24-year-old has joined Sam Johnston, elbow, Rob Holding, ankle, Mark Guehi, knee, Mateusz Franca, groin, Jejarun Raksaki, thigh, Sheikh Doucouré, Achilles, and Odson Edouard, knee, on the sidelines. Johnston's absence means Dean Henderson will take his spot between the sticks, with Crystal Palace lining up in a 3-4-3 formation in front of him against Manchester City. The central defensive unit should feature Joel Ward, Joachim Andersen, and Jefferson Lerma. As for the midfield unit, there is no looking past Adam Wharton and Will Hughes. Daniel Munoz and Tyrick Mitchell should be the 2 wing-backs, with the duo contributing on both ends of the pitch. Finally, Jean-Philippe Mateta will lead the line for Crystal Palace, with Jordan Ayew and Eberechi Eze completing the numbers in the offensive trifecta. Unlike his counterpart in the Crystal Palace dugout, Pep Guardiola does not have many pressing issues to deal with ahead of the trip to Selhurst Park. The Manchester City manager will be without 3 first-team players on Saturday. Edison Moraes is the most notable absentee, with the Brazilian international recovering from a thigh injury. However, he is closing in on returning to action and should feature in the UEFA Champions League clash with Real Madrid. Edison accompanies Kyle Walker, hamstring, and Nathan Ake, knock, on the sidelines. Stefan Ortega will deputise for Edison between the sticks, with Manchester City lining up in a 5-1 formation in front of him against Crystal Palace. Rico Lewis will start as the right-back in the absence of Walker, with the youngster accompanying Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz, and Josko Gvardiol in the backline. As for the midfield unit, Rodri will play as the holding midfielder, looking to pull the string from a deep-lying position. Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne will run the show in the final third, with Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku supporting Erling Haaland in the final third. Key stats: Crystal Palace came from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Manchester City in the reverse fixture in December. Only in 1992-93, 1994-95, and 2021-22 have they avoided defeat in both Premier League meetings with the Citizens in a season. Crystal Palace have failed to score in their last 4 Premier League home games against Manchester City, with Luka Milivojevic in April 2019, the last Eagles player to score against them at Selhurst Park. Manchester City have kept just 1 clean sheet in their 9 most recent Premier League away games against London clubs, although that was at Crystal Palace in March last year, 1-0. They had kept a clean sheet in 8 of their previous 11 visits to the capital before this run. Having won just 1 of their first 9 Premier League home games this season, Crystal Palace have now won 3 of their last 5 at Selhurst Park. They have scored exactly 3 goals in all 4 of their home league wins this season. Eberechi has netted 5 goals in 8 home games for Crystal Palace in the Premier League this season. The last Englishman to score more at home in a top-flight campaign for the Eagles was Andrew Johnson, with 11 in 2000 and for 2005. What did Pep say? Pep Guardiola says City can only focus on winning our remaining Premier League games and wait to see what happens. I hope they drop points, but that doesn't solve the problem if we don't do our job, the City boss said at his news conference. We have to win the 8 games left and wait. If we were top of the league it would be in our hands, but that's not the case. What we have to do is win our games. If it happens then good, but we cannot control it. We can control the destiny in our games. That's all. Palace took a point from the Etihad earlier in the season when they fought back from 2 goals down to claim a 2-2 draw with an injury time penalty. City have won 10 of our 13 games since, drawing the other 3, but remain 3 points off the top. Pep said the quality of our rivals underlines how difficult it is to win every title as we chase a record-breaking 4th successive Premier League crown. The quality of the opponents, it is what it is, he said. We have to keep going, and at the end, we will see or realise that the team was there, that's for sure. Player to watch, Erling Haaland. Haaland has not been at the races since returning from his long injury layoff a few weeks ago. The Norwegian international remains atop the goal-scoring chart in the Premier League, but does not have the numbers that do justice to his profile and history as a goal machine. Meanwhile, Haaland has been involved in 7 goals in his last 6 away outings for Manchester City in the Premier League, scoring 4 and assisting 3. However, he has not scored in any of his 4 most recent such games, his longest run without a striker on the road in the competition. So, he will be eager to rediscover his peak form and guide Manchester City to multiple trophies. Prediction: Crystal Palace 1-3 Manchester City. The Eagles have failed to find the back of the net in their last 4 home Premier League games against Manchester City. However, the reigning champions do not have a good defensive record in recent away outings in London in the top flight. So, the home side might find a way past Stefan Ortega on Saturday. However, that might only be a consolation goal, with Manchester City running rampant at Selhurst Park this weekend. Expect Erling Haaland to rediscover his scoring boots, with the away side cruising to a 3-1 win over Crystal Palace on Saturday.